to another episode of Inside the Can, your guide inside the hottest, most honest trash talk. My name is JT, and as usual, Sensei Tyler, and a garbologist from another holler, Drey.
Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We appreciate you joining us as we get to know your waste inside and out. This week, we're continuing deep dive in hopes of getting a better look at the great topic of recycling.
There's another item on there, I believe.
Oh, it's coming.
Well, let's wait for that.
Segue.
Say this one is for Sensei here. This is his favorite topic.
Yes.
State statutes as it relates to charging for recycling.
115A93, subsection 3C.
Which was 1991 or something like that. I've been so tired of that because everybody pays for recycling, which I understand the theory behind it, but to me it's an antiquated idea.
So I'm going to recite that. Section C, it says, a licensing authority shall prohibit mixed municipal solid waste collectors from imposing a greater charge on residents who recycle than residents who do not recycle.
Yeah. Let me break that down to just real easy example to follow, right? Let's just use a nice round number, $40. You and a neighbor are in the same
Let's use JT and I.
Yeah, you guys are you're neighbors, right? You're going to recycle and you're not going to. Your bill is $40, whether you're recycling or not. Now, if you're the one recycling, your bill is going to have, say, 20 for garbage and 20 for recycling, so that as a hauler, I can track who has recycling. I can report to the county, the state, everyone else that asks for that exact same information. But it doesn't cost you more to have that service. If you all of a sudden are like, no, I'm not recycling anymore, your bill the same as Tyler was having without recycling, the $40. And so it is, to Tyler's point, an interesting idea that basically to provide that extra service, so we got an extra cart, an extra driver, an extra truck, fuel, maintenance, all that needs to be provided to you at the same cost as someone who is not recycling. And the idea was generated from the fact that they wanted to encourage recycling, but it came on the backs of the haulers. And so we've had to create interesting way of how we determine where we're going to recycle, because it's strictly an added cost. And it needs to be based on efficiency and density. If you're running 10 miles out of the way to collect a recycling cart, you're not doing the planet any justice. You know, you're not physically offsetting the consumption of that resource, right? Between the diesel and oil and all that's burned in that truck, what you potentially conserved has not outweighed that. And so we do get some folks that maybe are a little upset that we're not quite where they're at yet, you know, in terms of physical location within the lakes area. But I think we just have to look at that and be smart about it.
This is one that my question is like, why?
It's actually what prompted us going on the field trip, actually.
Nice.
Dove so deep into it. I was laughing at it.
I just can't
there's
imagine.
no way that's true.
Yeah. I was like, how can they do that? How can they make you pay more money to...
I'll tell you, it's quite simple. We call him Daddy around here, the government. Daddy says, you as a private business are going to provide this service and you're not going to charge anybody. And you say, okay, thanks. Well, you're going to pay my bills, right? Yes. So they created the SCORE deal, the Governor's Select Committee on Recycling and the Environment. There was funds put into that. There still is. That would trickle down through counties to cities to haulers. I want to say it was around 2017, maybe, where our county stopped sending it down to the haulers. So no, we don't get any money from the government to provide the service for free. That's why garbage bills increase. I mean, just in the 10 years that I've owned this business, our price has increased a lot. All of us, everybody in the area.
A lot of those expenses come from exactly what we're talking about. You know, the cost to physically take the recycling somewhere, that tipping fee has increased dramatically. Our landfill fees, all the certain things, and everyone's feeling it, right? It's the cost of living as it rises as well. But all those things kind of trickle effect down to, you know, kind of what we consider our basic necessities, waste and recycling services and things like that. So,
and a lot of customers that I talk to, they have no issue paying, like, well, I should pay for an extra service, but we can't. And it says a licensing authority. Well, the state gives the licensing authority to the counties. So our county is in charge of making sure that people are doing that right. Most counties, we did some homework on that. Most counties in the state do not enforce that. Crow Wing does, which I guess if you're going to have a law, you probably should enforce it.
Probably should.
And then, you know, from there it goes deeper. Cities can have their own licensing, but the county is the licensing authority given by the state. Where's it going with that? I don't remember. I had more for you on that. I'm setting the table for one of our future guests. We're going to get a Crow Wing County Commissioner in here. We're going to ask him, why does Crow Wing County not provide a place to dump Crow Wing County recycling? Cass County provides a place for their residents. They're paid for on their property taxes. Crow Wing does not. You could bring your own recycling in for free, but as a hauler, we cannot. We have to take it out of county.
Correct. And that is the exact reason, and you know this, that we invested last year's in being able to haul our own recycling because we did not have a realistic outlet for it at that time. There were some changes in fee schedules and how the counties wanted to dictate some certain things. And as local haulers, we got put in a pinch between the two. Kind of fell on our backs to figure some things out. And so we put in a compactor, a quick pre-sort, if you will, and it goes into a trailer. And we're now, instead of just dropping it at Cass County, we are now hauling it ourselves down to Twin Cities to make that happen.
So as leaders of hauler companies, do you have any plans on helping change legislation? Or are you guys just kind of like, it's what it is, we're just going to let it ride?
Right. You're talking to a mayor over here. He's already in. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you're not wrong, and that's where JT comes in.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact there's things that he can't necessarily
Certainly.
just saying, hey, let's do this. It's like,
no doubt.
so as a collective of haulers, especially in one area where you guys are having the same issues, has there been any cooperation within to try to get something to change?
Right. It's interesting to be brought up because there's areas of industry where we're allowed to kind of get together and converse about things, and there's areas where we're not.
Yep.
And so walking that fine line.
There's a hot word there that's come up in the last 5-6 years: collusion.
Correct.
That's what you have to avoid.
Correct. You get someone that just brings up an accusation about, price fixing or something along those lines and so I think a lot of us haulers are a little tentative to really rock the boat too much. I will say, Tyler's been very involved in political side of like legislations and things like that. I recently got involved a little more so on the Minnesota trucking side and doing some lobbying on the kind of the trucking association as a whole when it comes to some things like lines of emissions. What are they calling it? Basically like crafted collisions, people who are physically ramming into commercial vehicles, hoping for a settlement, things like that, some big picture stuff. But I think the nice thing about being involved in that is once you're there, your voice is then heard on topics such as this. And so probably good to attack it from both sides and just start talking about some crazy stuff. We can get into FET being around since World War I. And some crazy things in our industry. As just hardworking individuals, we've just done it for so long. Not to say that things can't change either, though.
So what you're saying is we need to get our largest can and have all the local haulers together in here. And it's not necessarily collusion, it's education.
Do you make an 80-yard roll-off? Because
we built a 40-yard. It wouldn't be collusion because we wouldn't be talking about our individual business practices.
Right.
We'd be talking about legislation, statutes.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite things to nerd out over. So I often am here just reading, geeking out over state statutes.
There you go.
It's a problem.
Dude, I mean, it's one of those things, if you're not up to speed on some of that stuff, it can so quickly catch you off guard.
And it changes so much, man.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing. Like, this hasn't changed. What did you guys say, 93?
91, I believe, is when it was formed.
Right, and they haven't been changed since.
Yeah.
No.
Funding has changed.
The funding has definitely changed. I was actually looking up.
Bad way.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
It has been changed very little. Like, no meat and potatoes have changed.
Again, that SCORE funding, what it's now being used for, it's still being kind of trickled down through the state to the county level, and they're using it to fund some of these drop sites and some other programs. But correct, it's no longer being funneled to the curbside recycling programs.
But a lot of those like drop-off locations have closed recently around here as well.
Yeah, that's been you got kind of dueling counties here, right? Crow Wing County kind of doubled down on the fact that they want larger drop-off facilities in fewer locations, and then you've got Cass County, who's kind of done the opposite, and given their size of the county and their kind of geographical setup, Cass County has done more smaller drop sites, and Cass County has lost a couple just here and there. A business changed hands, and they no longer want the recycling containers in their parking lot any longer. Things like that have occurred.
Have they closed any because of abuse since you guys have been involved in that?
We did, and we reopened it. Cass Lake had one that for a while we just had to pull them, got reinstated then. We've had a few have kind of moved around. We had one East Gull Lake City Hall. When they renovated everything, they moved it south to their their sewage treatment ponds. So it's still there, it's just in a different location. But yeah, you're not wrong. They've kind of approached it slightly differently, but allowing those in less dense areas to still participate in recycling. Because again, if we were out driving the rough edges of Cass County, picking up everyone out there, we did the math one time. We needed to collect something like 100 water bottles, like the 16.9 ounce, plastic water bottles, a mile to offset our petroleum consumption. So if we're not meeting that, we're consuming more in resource than we're
especially where you're going somewhere where there's a house every half a mile.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They got to drink a lot of water.
They got to drink a lot of water to upset that.
I want to touch on the drop sites in Cass County, just for the people. It's kind of an on your honor system. It's paid for by the taxpayers of Cass County.
Correct.
If you live in Crow Wing County, you should not be using those.
That would be the stance of Cass County, yes,
Yeah.
is that the residents, through their assessment on their taxes, which I believe is now $88 a year, they have access to those sites. I know we get on some fringes, right? Loon Lake is one that people
Pretty
talk
close.
about all the time. It's like, well, I'm right there. Can I use it? Realistically, if you're not paying the assessment, the county would ask that you're not using it.
Right. And that's only fair.
Right.
Just like our community cleanups. If you come from outside of the city limits, we will take your stuff, but we ask that you pay for it.
Correct, no doubt.
That taxpayer shouldn't pay for your stuff.
Yeah. When it comes to the drop sites, you mentioned on your honor, and Cass County has done a great job of prosecuting a few bad actors that we've caught. We had some scenarios where people put things in there that are not even wish cycling. We had a youth ATV end up in one time.
Oh.
We had a load of waterfowl end up in there one time. Things that it's blatant abuse. It's not wish cycling. And really that can very quickly ruin it for everyone in that.
That's how you lose the whole site.
Exactly. So again, I think allowing people to kind of police it themselves, call in when you see something weird or someone doing something they shouldn't, let them know. They've done a great job of when we are able to find a person that truly abused the site, they are prosecuting that.
Good.
Well, this has been another episode of Inside the Can. Follow us on your favorite social media sites to ensure that you do not miss the next aromatic adventure, because being trashy is much more sophisticated than you think.
Amen.
Hey fellas, just got a call from the neighbors.
Why?